At the start of the film we are shown a robot being built at Honka Robotics. It was the largest robotics company here. This robot was being made with the heart and brain of a human being. She looked just like a human. It was created as a girl who was just like humans. Her name is Major. Then we see that girl is injured in an attack and her body is completely destroyed. Now Dr. Ulit was going to give her a new body because she had created her and now she could recreate her body. Then we see a man named Cutter who is the CEO of Honka Robotics. Now he has decided that after Major is repaired she will be sent to Section 9, which is the defending section, to fight against terrorists. Because Major was proving to be a very good weapon for them. Even after taking all the damage, her conscience and mind were perfectly fine. But Dr. Ulit didn't want that. She wanted her to be safe, but Cutter didn't listen to anyone. It is then shown a year later when Major is sent to Section 9. The head of Section 9 Aramaki reports to Major about an attack that was about to take on Dr. Osmand and the Prime Minister of Africa at a hotel. And these attacks are going to be done by terrorists. At Aramaki's command, Major scans the entire building and finds out where the meeting is taking place. But before she reaches there, terrorists reach there and attack on Osmand and the Prime Minister. All these were also robots who were made by Honka Robotics. They attack them, then Major goes to help them and reaches there to fight all the terrorists. Just then her team also reaches there. She catches a robot and wants to know who sent them. But he doesn't tell her anything. After which she injures him and takes him with her to extract important information from his mind. Then Bato arrives, who is her teammate, and tells her that she is injured. Her hand is fractured. After that, both of them reach the office, and on reaching there, they start an investigation on the case that happened there. They analyze all the data and then discover that an old robot named Q's is behind this attack. He is very dangerous and he did this attack, but no one knows where he lives. Mr. Aramaki then sends 2 of his men to track him down and sends Bato and Major to Dr. Dahlin to get him a report on the robot. After sending everyone away, Aramaki stops Major and explains to her that she is an important weapon, so she should take care of herself and she is very important to them and it is her responsibility. But Major puts her motto in front of him that she has to kill Q's, after which Major and Bato leave. On the way, Bato asks her if she remembers anything about her past. Then Major says that I don't remember anything exactly, but there are some vague memories that are running in my mind, but I can't express them. She looks very confused. The 2 then arrive at Honka Robotics, where Major gets her hands repaired, which was injured in the attack. Dr. Ulit also asks her about her past memories, after which she connects a device to her brain and starts reading her mind. After that, they both go to Dr. Dahlin, who is working on the robot, but she was unable to extract any information from his mind. But it was very important to get the information out of his mind, on which Major gets an idea and asks the doctor to send her inside his mind so she can go and get the information. The doctor forbids her that it is too dangerous, but the information is very important to Major, so she goes into his mind even though doctor forbids her, and by going into his mind, she finds out that who sent them. They were sent by Q's, and she also retrieves the address from his mind. And the next day she arrives with her friend at the place where Q's was. She sees a hologram of Q's there where Q's slips out of his hands and doesn't even know where he went. Then Bato follows her, and as soon as he gets there is a blast, after which they are both injured. Major is injured a bit more. All her body parts are injured in this attack, while Bato's eyes are only damaged and he had robotic eyes installed, after which he can see properly. And he was like before, but his eyes were a bit weird. Mr. Cutter then goes to Mr. Aramaki to talk to him about taking care of Major, as she is one of his main projects created by Honka Roberts, and there is no one else like her. She is their first and last project, to which Aramaki replies that they know exactly what they have to do and that they don't answer to Honka Robotics. In fact, they answer to the government, at which Mr. Cutter gets angry. On the other hand, Major thinks that she is a human, so she goes to the market and meets different humans and talks to them and brings them home with her to check their skin and their faces, and she starts looking for things similar to her because she thinks she is a human being. Then we see Q's approaches Dr. Dahlin and asks her for information, but she doesn't give him any information, causing him to kill her. As soon as Major and Bato find out, they rush to the hospital and find that Dr. Dahlin is dead. Now they also worried about Dr. Ulit. On the other side, 2 truck drivers were standing ready on Q's orders and they attack Dr. Ulit's car to kill her. But as soon as they attack her, Major and Bato reach there with their team because they had an idea of all this. That's why those people reach there and save Dr. Ulit. But the person who was leading this attack starts to run away because he had all the information. But Major doesn't leave him at all and chases after him. He can't escape from Major after a long run, and Major catches up to him and beats him up, taking him with her to get secret information from him. Major asks him some questions to which he does not answer at first, but when he is tortured, he begins to speak. He calls the Major to meet him and gives her a message from Q's that he wants to meet you and gives him the address of Q's. Her team reaches there and enters inside the building, but Q's doesn't come in front of anyone, leaving the whole team. He only attacks Major, and after attacking Major he injures her and tied her. When Major regains consciousness, he comes in front of her and tells her the whole truth, that you were manufactured from a human body just like I was. But when they were no longer able to use me and they experimented on you and made you perfect, they threw me in the dustbin like these people will do to you. Major doesn't believe him at first, but then he tells her that he was made like her and he was forced to rebel against them because of being thrown away, and under this compulsion he wanted to kill them all. He tells Major that they gave you this body but your consciousness and heart and brain are all your own. That's why you should stay away from supporting these people. They are cruel who oppress others and I would like to advise you to stay away from them because they will throw you away the same way they abandoned me after using. He was just explaining all this to her and she was listening to him very attentively, wondering if she was really manufactured from a human being. Then Bato arrives there with the entire team and Q's escapes seeing him. After listening to Q's words, Major also becomes disillusioned with these people and decides to leave her team, and instead of going with the team, she runs away and goes straight to Dr. Ulit and finds out the whole truth from her. So she tells her that what he told you is right, but you are not made from a human being, you are a robot made under an experiment. She then questions her about how many more robots there were built, to which Dr. Ulit tells her that there were 98 other robots apart from the two of them. She then asks about her blurry memories of her past, and Ulit tells her that there is nothing like that, you have no heart and mind, it was all a false memory that we used to give you. Hearing this, Major tells her that Q's is doing all right with you guys and that's what he should do with you. She tells Dr. Ulit that she will support Q's and then she leaves from there. On the other hand, Bato worries a lot for Major, but she is swimming in the sea for stress relief. When she returns to boat after swimming, she finds Bato there who had come to meet her because he knew she would be found here. She then tells him the whole truth about what's going on at Honka Robotics and that they lied to her about being the only one of its kind. And after hearing the whole truth, Bato decides to support her and they both leave. But on the other hand, Dr. Ulit informs Mr. Cutter that Major has come to know about all this and she knows their whole truth. Then Major runs out of running batteries that she can't live without, so she goes to Honka Robotics and surrenders herself to the guards. The guards grab her and take her to Mr. Cutter where Dr. Ulit was also present. Mr. Cutter wanted Major to be killed because now she knows their truth. But Dr. Ulit doesn't want that because she made Major with her own hands and she is very dear to her. So she gives Mr. Cutter an idea that we delete all her memories and make her the way she was before. But Mr. Cutter refuses to listen to anyone and gives her a poison injection to inject into the Major's brain to kill her, and she takes the injection and reaches to Major. But she could not kill the Major, so she does not inject that poison into her brain, but fills all the memories of his past in a device and injects it into her brain. After which Major remembers her past, and along with that Dr. Ulit holds a chip in her hand and tells her this is your past and take it and run away from here. She betrays Honka Robotics by releasing her. Major manages to fight them all off and runs away from there, but Mr. Cutter kills Dr. Ulit there and goes to the head of Section 9 and tells that the Major has killed Dr. Ulit, to which Bato doesn't quite believe because he knows the truth that Major can't do that. But Cutter doesn't listen to him and proves him a liar. Major reaches a building with memories of her past, after which she goes to a flat and meets a woman who takes her into her house and starts making tea. The woman says that she lives alone and her daughter suddenly disappeared a year ago, which she never found again, and she is tired of searching for her, that is why now she has accepted her as dead. With that she tells Major that seeing you like this is reminding me of my daughter because she used to see me exactly like that. Hearing this, Major gets shocked and she doesn't think it's right to stay there and gets emotional and goes outside. On her way out, she contacts Mr. Aramaki and tells him what she has done, and then she also clarifies that she didn't kill Dr. Ulit and tells him all about how Honka Robotics is killing humans and creating robots using their hearts and brains, and she tells them that we have to tell this to the president. Aramaki trusts Major so much that he agrees to help her and leaves to meet the president at her request, but they also knew that Cutter would know all these things through Major's scanner, and just as expected, Cutter first attacks Aramaki to kill him because he's on his way to meet president. But his attack doesn't work because Mr. Aramaki wasn't that easy to kill, so he single-handedly fights off all his men and kills them. And on the other hand, Major goes to meet Q's in a deserted place because Q's used to live there. She meet him when suddenly Cutter attacks them and blasted both of them. Due to the blast there, both of them are completely injured, and even after trying to escape, both of them are unable to escape at all and lie injured. Then Cutter sends his team to kill Q's, but before he kills Major, Mr. Aramaki sends Bato to help her, and he reaches there in time and picks up Major and thus he saves her, but they cannot save Q's from dying there. Mr. Aramaki approaches Cutter and tells him that the president has ordered to kill you, and he kills him on the spot so that he will not be able to do his evil experiments again. Major is then shown in the graveyard where she stands at her grave. Her name was Motoko. She stares at her grave, then goes to her mother and tells her that she doesn't need to go to the graveyard after today because her daughter has come to her. And her mother is overjoyed to meet her daughter who has now become a robot. On the other hand, the city was completely free from terrorism and Major starts living happily with her mother. Now she also works for Aramaki as before. And with that the movie ends here. If you like this video, please subscribe this channel.